Hey, welcome back, video bloggers, or also known as vloggers.
How you doing? Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Today's vlog and blog is entitled "Time to Go to Work, Baby."
Uh-oh.
So, hello and welcome back.
Marcus Aurelius once said, "Tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain about if I'm going to do what I was born for, that is, to be human? The things I was brought into this world to do. Or is this what I was created for? To stay huddled under the blankets and stay warm?" The Roman Stoics had the right idea, nearly 2,000 years ago. L. Ron Hubbard gives us a very interesting definition for this human being Marcus Aurelius was talking about. He says, you before you mocked yourself up, or in what I think of, it's you before you created who you are. A mock-up is a wonderful term and concept. It's how you are making something look or appear. Let me know when you want to chime in here. The body itself is a mock-up. A person mocks up how they look when they leave the house, their home, their car, their workspaces, their jobs, their whole life. These have all been mocked up by the individual himself. Get the idea that a mock-up is something a person puts up or creates and says, it is there.
See, and that's the whole point. So everybody becomes so enamored with these bodies and, oh, my body is who I am and this is what I am and all the rest of the stuff. And it's no, they are all mock-ups. So this human being that Marcus Aurelius is a Roman Stoic and Roman emperor from way back in the day. And that's what he's saying. You know, it says, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. This is why you wake up in the morning. You're not out there trying to make money for this or that. You're going to work as a human being. And it says, what do you have to complain about? He says, you're going to work for what you're actually put here on this planet to do, and that is to be a human being. And more so than just to be a human being, we can get into the concept of one's virtue and his honor and all sorts of other things. But you're not supposed to just kind of go through the motions. You want to work on this. So you keep in mind, you look at this body, you look at this Dr. Dave thing, this Dr. Diane thing, this room, this is all mocked up. We made this. Gets back to, like we say, who is we, who is us? It's you, which is that spiritual being, before you decided to mock yourself up. And I love that concept. So we don't get so worked up about the identities and the names and that I'm the this and I'm the that and everything else. We bring all that back, and at the end of the day, you are that thing, that human, that life force, that entity, that soul, that spirit.
And that reminds me of a story. Years ago, we had a patient that would come in, and she was really all about, her body. And she would have, this surgical procedure done, and this surgical procedure done, and something done with the face, and something done with this. And it was a lot of anesthesia. And she was young. She was probably in her 20s. And I finally said to her, do you realize that you aren't your body? And she was kind of taken aback, and she looked at me and didn't really say anything. And then I never saw her again, which was probably okay because, we just were on different pages. But she was having all this work done. And frankly, I felt like it was dangerous for her to have all this unnecessary anesthesia. So, but I wanted her to get the concept that, you aren't this physical body. And so I'm not sure if she ever figured that out, but at any rate, it was interesting. So, yeah. And do you want to continue?
Well, yeah, and that's the most important part. It is something that was put in place and probably only exists because someone says it does and others agree. That's kind of heavy too. You get this idea that all this stuff was put here for us and all the rest of the stuff, and it's mocked up, and it's there because people say, I agree, I see it. I'd read one time that said when two people walk past each other and one says hello and hello back and so on and forth, what really is going on is that this person is saying, I see you, oh, I see you, and there's still a planet here. It's like, wow, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah. If one is capable of mocking things up, why fight so hard to maintain and hold a mock-up in place? Just make another one, right? The mock-up is not really you or that thing that is you. It's just a symbol or idea brought to life, so to speak, in the physical universe. And not to sound mean or whoop-de-doo, we can all mock up things, and my mock-ups aren't really any more important than yours.
That's the whole thing. This mine I gotta hold on to. You see these people driving cars, and that 2 inches in front of them is the most important thing. Make another 2 inches. It's really that easy. Oh, my body, my house, my this, my possessions, me. Make a new one. We all can. It's killing you. You don't get to take this stuff with you. You don't. You keep your humanity. You keep the love that you share. You keep your friendship. You keep all of this stuff. But this all falls apart and disappears. It's a waste of time.
So why fight the world over some mocked up identity as if this is really the person himself? Yeah. It's just a mock-up, and that thing that is you, once again, is you before you mocked yourself up. So there is this thing, this life energy or soul or spirit that is you, and you are mocking up your body and the world around you. Most, when asked, tell me they do believe that they are some type of life energy and not the body. So why do people work so hard to be stuck in their mock-ups?
Yeah, very, very true, because I'll talk to people about being a soul or a spirit, and they all look around and it's like, I actually believe that, and they whisper it to me, and it's like, well, that's fine.
And that would make, when you get to the end of your life, easier to confront, because so many people, when they get to the end of their life, they have a hard time dropping that body and moving on. But if they really realized what they truly were, it wouldn't be so scary or such a devastating loss.
You're not the body.
And then work so hard to make their mock-ups persist at any and all costs. That happens a lot. Plastic surgery, hormone injections, biohacking, mind-altering drugs, cryogenics, dangerous health practices. I read that one biohacker is planning on living to be 186 years old. Wow, he doesn't sleep for fear of losing his edge. And he lives on foodstuffs that are the equivalent of nitrous oxide.
Yeah, just stuff that keeps him hypercharged, and he doesn't sleep so he can keep that edge to make it to 186.
And Dr. Dave says here, good luck, Mr. 110%er. He's probably dead already.
Gotta be.
Here's the real kicker. That thing that creates bodies and mocks up the world is immortal. It can never die.
It can't. It's a waste. It can't. So we're fighting and struggling and fighting to stay alive when that thing that is us is actually immortal. It can never die.
And if it can simply mock up new stuff, I ask again, why is it so important that our mock-ups last forever? Wouldn't it be far more prudent to work, as it were, like Marcus Aurelius said, on that thing that is the creator of life, to work on one's humanity, his civility, his virtue, and understanding his beingness and life, rather than biohacking a mock-up as if the being himself were actually the mock-up? Yes. So what does this have to do with health and wellness? One can work on mocking himself up to be the person he or she wants to be. One can mock himself up as a person who is healthy or ill, happy or sad, winning or losing, however they want, and then they can always change their mind.
They can always change their mind. So when you consider this as a mock-up, I haven't been dealt a losing hand, if you get what I'm saying. Well, my body is this, so therefore whatever. No, my body is what it is, and what I do, and going to work as being a human and things, I can change this. I don't mean change it like that, but you can always do stuff. You're not stuck with things that you can actually change and mock up and make the way that you want them to be.
But as one works to be their mock-up, they move further and further from what might be considered to be their native state, and bury themselves deeper and deeper under their own stupidity And as a result, life in the world around them gets a little worse each day.
Yeah.
Just look around. Rather than working on being a human being, people work on being bodies and identities and then come to my office with a tear in their eye that they aren't quite the superhero they were 20 years ago. Regardless of age or the status of a body, one can always be kinder, smarter, wiser, and more helpful to those who need help, right?
Always. You know, all I hear is about I'm less, I'm less, I'm less, I'm not what I once was, I'm not what I once was, I'm not what I once was. You can always be kinder, you can always be smarter, you can always be wiser, you can always help more, you can always contribute, you can always create love and beauty and life. And sitting there sniveling about you're not what you were when you were in high school. You know what? You weren't what you were when you thought. You were a legend in your own mind when you were in high school. So why waste an entire life boo-hooing about what you thought you once were when you can always be something that is much greater and much more beautiful and wonderful than a silly body.
It's an interesting phenomenon when I hear people say that they feel empty and alone, and why not? For as beautiful as they look on the outside, they never worked on that stuff on the inside. And having failed to recognize that inner beauty, that soul, that spirit, or life energy, they never built it up and connected it with humanity. Pecs look great though.
Yeah.
This is why I talk about man the God.
Yeah, as long as you're hot, that's all that matters.
One must work each day upon his virtue, his goodness, his humanity, and from this determine his own beingness each day and every day.
Exactly. And that is why I talk that man is essentially, and you are a God because of what you can do. I mean, you today, right now, you could find a complete stranger and possibly be everything in that person's life and be that lifeline and or
help them survive.
Right, or you can just sit and stare at a phone and weave in and out of traffic trying to figure out where the closest dispensary is. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious. And it's like, yeah, you could, remember. You really could. And you could be that person to yourself too. Yeah.
Talking mostly of the importance of hot rodding bodies and brains, most of the popular blogs and podcasts never discuss the purpose of such hot rodding and how one might be of more service to mankind. Hey, wait a second. If I keep it up with this inner peace, wisdom, and humanity stuff, I'll never get popular. I'll let you read the next part.
That's right. So I keep talking about the spiritual stuff and the beauty of one's beingness and helping his fellow man and all the rest of the stuff. And it's like, I don't have 3 million viewers. So what I started to do, it's like, well, okay, next blog, Dr. Dave will tell you how to be a sex machine. How about that? Because that's what everybody wants to know. Good. And then finally, the world will love me. So tune in next week. Sex machine.
Oh dear. Okay. See you guys.
Take care. Thank you for listening. Hey, and before we cut out, please click like. If you have comments, send comments. And if you want to talk about this kind of stuff, and even if you don't want to talk about it, we should probably talk about it. I'm not making this stuff up. When you look at the world around you and you're like, what the heck? You need to pull back to that thing that is actually you, this thing of great beauty, this thing of wisdom, this thing of serenity, this whatever. And from that point, create. So I'd love to talk to anybody about this.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.